Describing people. My family. I'd like to tell you about some members of my family. This is my sister Helen. She's young, slim, and attractive. She's got red curly hair, a pretty snub nose, and rosy cheeks. Her eyes are green, which I think match her hair rather well. She likes to dress casually, and most of the time she just wears jeans and a jumper. This here is a picture of Auntie Mabel. She's short and somewhat plump. She's always very elegant, though. Her straight blonde hair is cut short and she always wears a bob. She's also fond of hats, which is not terribly trendy these days. But I suppose you don't always have to look fashionable to look good. I have no idea how old she is, but I'm guessing she would say she's middle-aged. Which normally means the person doesn't want to be called old, but they're not young anymore either. Auntie Mabel is awfully chatty. Sometimes I think she never stops talking. Auntie Mabel also loves her tiny dog, who could easily fit in her fancy handbags. This is my niece Julia and her little brother Jake. Julia is a toddler and Jake is only a tiny baby. They're both cheerful little kids, always smiley and friendly. Julia has wild brown hair which she doesn't like to comb, and Jake has hardly any hair at all. Julia has a pretty little button nose with some very sweet freckles around it, and Jake is a round-faced little chap. They are both rather determined. They always know exactly what they want. This is my cousin George. He's taller than average, and so he's a bit clumsy. He often bumps his head in doorways and keeps knocking things over because of his long arms. He's also a bit overweight, so most of the time he wears comfortable baggy clothes. He says he'd like to lose weight, so he goes running every day with his dog. Because he's rather large and he wears glasses too, he's normally very shy. He doesn't talk to people much and doesn't have many friends either. I still like him a lot because he's generous and warm-hearted. This is my Uncle John. He is probably the most interesting character in my family. These days he's stocky and bald, but when he was younger he was slim and had thick dark hair. He was awfully handsome. Now that he hasn't got any hair, he always wears a hat, and he's also grown a moustache. He normally wears a suit, and you'll never see him without his briefcase. Uncle John is very outgoing and can talk to anyone about anything. He has some of the most amusing stories I've ever heard. And finally, this is my Auntie Lola. As you can see, she's rather extravagant. These days she's a bit large, but when she was young she was a real beauty. Although she was never tall, she was slender, with long black shiny hair and blue eyes. Her hair is not long anymore, and she's turning a bit grey. On the whole, she's now quite round, but I think her build suits her personality. She's optimistic and energetic and never seems to worry. In this picture, she's wearing her favourite hat and a rather classy dress. One has to look elegant, even if only going to the market, she told me. See you next time.